What's going on, YouTube? Today we're gonna be looking at this video. Now, I'm not gonna even pretend. I was watching this on the way to work and I couldn't sit here and not want to talk about it today. This man's gotta be the most patient person. Top 10 of all time. I'm not gonna front. I've finished this podcast, but I couldn't just sit here and not talk about it. I was like, fuck it, I'll upload a video on YouTube talking about this because there's admiration for this guy. There's gotta be more admiration for this dude. Now, this guy's called Brian Johnson. Last I heard of him was like a few years back. I don't know, for context, he's a health guru. He comes from a background of business. At the beginning, he sold this company, became very rich, and he decided, I'm going to be the first person to de-age and try to live forever, which was a big thing back then, and it sparked a controversy and all that. And, when I saw the episode, I've ignored it multiple times, and then I landed on it yesterday because, I've been doing some personal changes myself when it comes to health. And so his content became a little bit relatable to me. And this guy, it's pretty simple, he used all the money that he has to just duck it and push it into making himself healthier. And he's coming out and all he's doing is just giving this information for free. But in this episode, he's surrounded by 20 professional, rage-baiting, excuse-inducing bunch of fucking idiotic human beings. I'm not going to say all of them because not all of them participated, but from every single one that participated in this video, not one person, I think maybe one person was listening without making an excuse. But let's just talk about the next person here, Chelsea. People who watch this episode know what I'm talking about, but I'll let you guys watch, then we'll talk after.
Thing for everybody.
Society is systematically killing itself, and that's a bad thing for everyone. What do you feel about sovereignty and personal choice? Appreciate you.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Hi, Brian.
There she is. And I was gonna skip this claim. I'm not gonna even lie to you. Ending death should be number one. I don't care. This is some sci-fi shit. Again, I was watching him to get as much health, see what his outlook on health and sleep and all of that, your day-to-day stuff. So I don't really care about this prompt, but I've seen a small clip of her on TikTok and I was kind of pulled even more to watch her segment. I thought she was going to come in the next prompts, but she came in this one. All right, let's see what she has to say.
My name is Chelsea Godds, and I sit across from you today. I think I'm going to say the thing that a lot of people in this circle are thinking. It's easy when you're rich to care about not dying. Mm-hmm. Most people spend all day, every day, also caring about not dying because they're living paycheck to paycheck. Mm-hmm. 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Being poor is the story of humanity across the whole globe. I think listening to a man who doesn't know what it's like, how he's going to make rent next month, that to some of us, it feels pretty strange to hear you tell us that we're not focused on being alive. I think every person here is struggling to be alive every single day. I think most people in this country are struggling to be alive every single day. And when they smoke a cigarette, it's not about whether they want to die. It's about enjoying that moment. I'm talking to a man who publicly has said that you eat pureed food every day. And you're telling me, a normal human being, who is like everyone else, struggling financially and whatnot, how I should be living my life. And I think there's something that's really disconnected about that. I also think that it's really false of you to claim that people are focusing their life on dying, when really all of us are focusing on surviving. That's why we're here. Every one of us is here today because we're surviving. We don't go to McDonald's and think, oh, this is killing me. We go to McDonald's because we don't have enough time in the day to make dinner, because we can't afford to go to the grocery store and buy a $20 steak, because we can't shop at Erewhon and get $40 of strawberries, So I think a lot of us are here wondering, what does you, a person who's rich, who doesn't know what struggle is like, and who also talks about the fact that you use your own son's blood, have to add to us as humanity?
Yeah. Hi, Chelsea.
Hey.
Yeah, I grew up with 4 other siblings, single mom. My mother made my clothes because we didn't have enough money for her to buy clothes for me. I went to school and I got made fun of because my clothes didn't fit and they were awkward. I didn't have money my entire life. I became an entrepreneur. I struggled for 14 years with no money whatsoever. So I understand what it feels like to have no money. I know what it feels like to be poor. So I've been through that. I also was chronically depressed for 10 years. I wanted to commit suicide desperately. I really would have committed suicide had it not been for my 3 kids. I felt like I had a responsibility to them. So I understand struggle, I understand pain. I was 50 pounds overweight. I was in a terrible shape. And so I understand what it's like to be that way. My argument is not to criticize you or anyone else. What I'm arguing is that companies have built their products to make you addicted.
My Lord Almighty. And see, this is why I have so much respect for this dude. The amount of fucking assumptions this bitch made was unbelievable. Unfathomable. Assuming that he was born rich, that he doesn't know anything, that 1, 2, and the third. She didn't even talk about the prompt. She didn't even mention the prompt. Sister came in and she wanted to rant. And instead of this guy replying with every single way to destroy her existence, he was nice, he listened, and he continued. Which further shows me, and I gotta say this is my favorite part, like my favorite moment that I've learned from this episode. It's that this guy has proved that if you actually follow his footsteps and try to apply whatever he is applying when it comes to sleep, food, and exercise, which are, by the way, 3 simple pillars, by the way. I don't give a fuck if you have 60 jobs, motherfucker. You can give 30 minutes at home and do a bunch of push-ups, all right? You baby-ass bitch, all right? You actually get to start to behave like that. And I aspire to be like that. Because this guy is so, like, balanced and zenned out because of how healthy he keeps track of his body, that he didn't even let himself get mad. He didn't want to even spike his cortisol levels. And you just gotta respect that, dude. You gotta respect the amount of assumptions, the amount of attacking that happens straight to your face from a fucking bitch that just keeps making fucking excuses. You know what I mean? And then just, it's wild. I just had to rant about this, man. I had to talk about it.
And to make you ill. That's the core thing I'm trying to say, is that the most powerful economic engine in all of history, the American economic engine, has pointed itself at creating addictive foods and phones and social media and porn and junk food.
Yeah, he talks about, like, a 1, 2, and the third.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people would change their opinion to respond.
Sure, of course.
Okay, so you did the other thing you were saying about my son's blood. So the reason that came about is my father is now in his early 70s because
Sit there and say that that label is given to you by the press is a little bit disingenuous because you gave that label to yourself and you did it to be shocking. You did it to make headlines yourself.
All right, now she just talks about whatever, but I just wanted to comment on that. Yeah, I could. It didn't sit right with me. I just wanted to rant about how annoying people can be. The whole episode is absolute rage bait for whoever wants to watch it. I can't even fucking rewatch this shit. But I gotta say, what you are gonna experience after rewatching it is a lesson on patience, a lesson of actually caring about people, and a lesson in actually conveying a message. Because this guy, throughout the whole debate, every single one of these fucking bitch-ass losers comes up to the chair, makes up their own excuse, says that you're rich, you're entitled for giving advice that's good for you. And he proceeds to calm them down, says that he understands, and if anything, concedes to some of these people's points, which are, it's complex. And people have complex issues, like everyone else in the world. And yeah, as his message is general, he's still not... He doesn't have an obligation to give you a fucking personal therapy fucking session and to tell you what to do. He came with a message, and people are pissed about that fucking message for some reason. And then they just keep making excuses. Anyways,